I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see giant bees and I could have told you, don't trust Alexander, he's older than Yoda. Pretty good, huh? And you'll think to yourself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah.
Oh, that was extraordinary.
He had just $7 in his pocket. No job, no plan, no direction. Just a dream and a mountain of failure behind him. Before the fame, the fortune, and the Hollywood lights, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was on the edge. Evicted from his home. Rejected by the NFL. Forgotten by football. And still, he refused to quit. Because inside him burned a fire raw, relentless, and unstoppable. A fire that turned pain into power, and setbacks into a global legacy. He didn't wait for opportunity. He crushed every door until one opened. Today, he's not just a champion in the ring or a box office icon, he's a symbol of what happens when you fight for your future like your life depends on it. This is the untold rise of The Rock. This is what happens when nothing is handed to you and you rise anyway. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born on May 2, 1972, into a world of struggle and strength. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a professional wrestler, one of the first black champions in the WWE. His mother, Ata Maivia, came from a legendary Samoan wrestling family. But legacy didn't guarantee comfort. In fact, the Johnson family moved constantly, chasing opportunity and battling poverty along the way. As a child, Dwayne lived in multiple places: California, New Zealand, North Carolina, and Hawaii. Each move brought new beginnings, but also new hardships. He watched his parents fight to survive, and at just 14 years old, he saw his mother attempt suicide right in front of him after they were evicted from their apartment. That moment would haunt him for life, but also fuel a fire inside him to never give up. In high school, Dwayne faced bullying, rejection, and even trouble with the law. He was arrested multiple times for theft and fighting. At times, he felt like a failure. But deep inside, he knew he was meant for something greater. Sports became his escape, first with football, then with wrestling. He pushed himself beyond the pain, determined to change his story. Dwayne didn't grow up with privilege. He grew up with pressure. He grew up in shadows of poverty, uncertainty, and disappointment. But those shadows shaped his strength. They forged a fighter, a survivor, a man who knew that the only way out was through. Dwayne's school life was far from ordinary. It was turbulent, tough, and filled with trials that could have broken anyone else. By the time he was 17, he had already attended 13 different schools. Every new classroom meant starting over, new faces, new rules, and new challenges. And because of his size, already over 6 feet tall and heavily built, many teachers and students saw him as a threat rather than a kid just trying to fit in. He was labeled a troublemaker, often misunderstood, and even arrested multiple times for fighting, theft, and mischief. He hung out with the wrong crowd, skipped classes, and at times, he felt like he was headed nowhere fast. But everything began to shift when a high school teacher saw past the rough exterior and believed in his potential. That one teacher's encouragement lit a spark. Sports became his anchor. Dwayne joined the football team and channeled his rage, pain, and energy into the game. On the field, he discovered something he hadn't felt in years: purpose. Football gave him a reason to wake up early, to train hard, and to push past the limits that life had tried to place on him. Though his grades weren't always the best, his dedication to football earned him a scholarship to the University of Miami, an achievement that felt like a dream to a kid who once thought he'd end up in jail, not college. Dwayne Johnson's school life wasn't about straight A's or popularity, it was about survival, self-discovery, and finding a way to rise above the noise. It's proof that even when your report card looks bad, your future can still be brilliant if you believe, and never stop working. After a tough high school journey, Dwayne Johnson's life seemed to be turning around. He earned a full football scholarship to the University of Miami, one of the top college football programs in the US. At just 18, he walked onto campus with the dream of going pro, finally seeing a clear path to success. But the dream didn't go as planned. Dwayne was a talented defensive lineman, but the team was stacked with other powerhouse players, including future NFL stars. He worked harder than ever, training intensely, showing up early, staying late. Still, he was often benched. Injuries plagued his career. And worst of all, his biggest hope, making it to the NFL, slipped away. After college, he signed a small deal with the Calgary Stampeders in the Canadian Football League. It was far from the bright lights of the NFL, but he was determined to fight his way up. Instead, just 2 months into the season, he was cut from the team. At 23 years old, he packed up his things and returned home with a broken spirit, no money, and no idea what to do next. He had gone from a full-ride scholarship to being jobless, living in a tiny room in his parents' house. All he had left was a duffel bag and $7 in his pocket. That moment would become a turning point, not just in his life, but in the legend he was about to become. Dwayne Johnson's football dream may have died, but in its ashes, something greater was born: resilience, vision, and a fire to prove the world wrong. With his football dreams shattered and only $7 to his name, Dwayne Johnson hit rock bottom, literally. But instead of staying down, he made a bold decision: to follow in his father's footsteps and try professional wrestling. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't guaranteed. But it was his last shot at redemption. He trained relentlessly, often in gritty gyms and small arenas, sleeping on dirty mattresses and hustling for a chance to be seen. In 1996, he made his debut in the WWE as Rocky Maivia, a name that honored both his father and grandfather, wrestling legends. But the crowd hated it. They booed him, chanted "Die Rocky Die." Night after night, he stood in the ring, smiling through humiliation and rejection. But Dwayne didn't quit. Instead, he reinvented himself. He dropped the forced smile, embraced his charisma, and unleashed the real version of himself. The Rock, a bold, brash, electrifying character who lit up arenas with one eyebrow raise and a microphone. He connected with fans like no one else. His catchphrases became global slogans. "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" echoed through stadiums and living rooms alike. By the early 2000s, The Rock had become one of the biggest superstars in WWE history, a world champion, a household name, and a role model to millions. He had turned failure into fame, heartbreak into hustle. What made his rise so powerful wasn't just the title belts, it was the story behind them. The kid who once had nothing was now inspiring the world to believe in something. That comebacks are always stronger than setbacks. At the height of his wrestling fame, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made another daring move, one that many doubted he could pull off. He stepped away from the WWE spotlight and walked into the uncertain world of Hollywood. Critics called him just another wrestler trying to act. But Dwayne had heard that kind of talk his entire life, and every time, he turned doubt into drive. His first big break came in 2001 with The Mummy Returns, followed by The Scorpion King, where he earned a record-breaking $5.5 million for his first starring role. But this was just the beginning. While others might have settled for action roles and fame, Dwayne pushed for more. He took acting classes, studied scripts, worked with top directors, and transformed himself into a true performer. Over the next 2 decades, he became a Hollywood powerhouse, starring in blockbusters like Fast and Furious, Jumanji, Moana, and Black Adam. Each film added not just to his resume, but to his global impact. He became the highest-paid actor in the world, year after year, not just because of his box office numbers, but because of his unmatched work ethic, humility, and ability to connect with people of all ages and backgrounds. But even with the fame, Dwayne never forgot his roots. Behind every red carpet smile was the memory of a boy with $7 in his pocket and the weight of the world on his shoulders. His success wasn't handed to him, it was earned, every step of the way. He once said, "Be humble. be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. That mantra didn't just build a brand, it built a legacy. Behind the muscles, movies, and millions, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is more than a global icon. He's a man with a heart as strong as his will. As his fame grew, so did his mission: to give back, lift others, and inspire the next generation. In 2006, he co-founded the Dwayne Johnson Rock Foundation, dedicated to supporting at-risk and terminally ill children. He's donated millions to education, healthcare, and disaster relief efforts. In 2020, he gifted $1 million to his former college football team at the University of Miami. And beyond the donations, he constantly uses his platform to spread messages of hope, resilience, and mental health awareness. Despite his demanding career, Dwayne is deeply devoted to his family, his wife Lauren Hashian, and his 3 daughters. He often shares tender moments on social media, showing that true strength isn't just lifting weights, it's being present, being kind, and being vulnerable. His life at home grounds him, reminding the world that success is sweeter when it's shared with the people you love. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has earned a mountain of accolades that reflect not only his talent, but his relentless drive to succeed. In the world of wrestling, he became a 10-time world champion, a 5-time tag team champion, and one of the most electrifying superstars in WWE history. His larger-than-life presence earned him a place in the WWE Hall of Fame and a permanent spot in the hearts of fans around the world. When he stepped into Hollywood, he didn't just act, he dominated. He became Forbes' highest-paid actor multiple times, starred in global blockbusters, and won numerous awards including People's Choice Awards, MTV Movie Awards, and the prestigious NAACP Image Award for Entertainer of the Year. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world, and in 2017, he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But beyond the fame and fortune, The Rock built a legacy rooted in humility, hard work, and heart. To him, the greatest reward isn't the spotlight, it's the ability to inspire, uplift, and lead by example. Dwayne Johnson's journey teaches us that no matter how hard you fall, you can rise higher. That rejection is often redirection. That fame means nothing without purpose. And that the most powerful thing you can be is yourself. He turned pain into power, failure into fuel, and struggle into strength. He once said, "Success at anything will always come down to this: focus and effort." And we control both. From a boy with $7 in his pocket to a man who owns every room he walks into, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is living proof that your past does not define your future. He turned every no into a new beginning, every setback into a setup for a comeback. His story isn't just about fame, it's about faith, fight, and fearlessness. So, the next time life knocks you down, remember The Rock's journey. Stand up. Push forward. Keep going. Because just like him, you have the power to rise from rock bottom and build an unshakable legacy. This is more than a story, it's a reminder that greatness lives in all of us, if we dare to believe. That's the inspirational story of Dwayne Johnson. You can watch more stories of inspirational people available in our library. Please subscribe.